Turn the thing towards us so we can see ourselves.
Which one?
Flip the,
yep.
the square. All right, good.
Look good?
Sack tap.
We're recording.
Hello, welcome back everyone to the Baseball Central podcast. I'm your host Ryan Royster. I'm here with TJ Runnels, our owner here at Baseball Central, and we have a brand new episode here for you today. And we'd love to tell you guys a little bit more about what we're going to be talking about tonight. So we're going to press the hot topic button and we're going to speak on foreign substances. So I'm going to ask you, TJ, what exactly, how do you feel about this whole thing?
So what they're talking about right now is the pitchers using tack, spider tack, or any kind of grip enhancement. I don't know. Is it more about the grip enhancement, or are they talking about the balls moving, or is it because of the grip that's what's causing it to move more?
I think the enhanced grip is increasing spin is what the worry is.
And that
it's
helps.
making the pitches unhittable is what they're saying. Look, I've never seen a pitch that wasn't hittable. It's just a matter of you figuring out how to hit that pitch. But with that being said, hats off to pitchers. This thing has been going on for a very long time. We all know it. Baseball guys know it.
Yeah.
Speak on the story about passing it down, kind of what. Tell me more about that.
So I think everyone's seen the Garrett Cole clip where he gets asked, have you ever used spider tack? And he gets kind of like he gets locked. And he's like, and he takes a minute. I thought it was frozen at one point because he's like,
yeah, that was weird. It was so weird.
And then he kind of like sidesteps it to say, I think he was trying to like say, well, there's things that has been passed down from generations, meaning like players that played before him, that it was just something that you used, and that was kind of the norm. So I think because now it's becoming apparent, not only with the spin rate, being able to measure things now, I think is huge. You have the pitch logic, and you have all these different Rapsodo devices that can actually, give you a sense of how much spin is happening, and that obviously more spin, more movement, more velocity, and so on. So with grip, you're going to get more bite, or obviously backspin, and that creates the ball to do some fun and different things. So so I think that's the he's in a roundabout way saying it's kind of okay, or it was like an unwritten rule that was kind of okay by the players, but I'm not sure. I mean, what do you think? I mean, Well,
I'm kind of indifferent for this because, I like Pete Alonso's idea that if a guy throws 100 and he doesn't have control of it, he's okay with a little bit of grip. Now, if the grip and the tack is getting so enhanced that the ball and the spin is becoming so incredibly hard to hit, then we do have a problem. So it just comes down to this. They have to remove all foreign substances, because if it's a little or a lot, doesn't matter. If there's some on the ball and the ball is spinning more, they're going to complain and say that's why. I've seen sunblock with rosin. I've seen, pine tar on your hat right here with your fingers, inside your glove with pine tar and rosin. But, honestly, I've seen guys use the rosin and the sunblock bullfrog, because those were legal substances, and get a slight tack, but nothing like a pine tar.
Right.
TJ, he's going to speak on what he used to do with his glove. I started to do this as well. I'm a lot like TJ. It took me a few years to catch on to this, but TJ, tell them what you used to do with your glove.
Before I go into that, would you be okay? So if they remove everything, because I used to do this as an infielder, and I'll talk about then what I do with my glove. Like, I would always lick my fingers, just at short or wherever, almost every. It's like, come on, just move around, lick. I'd always be licking my fingers. I know that they don't want the pitchers licking their fingers on the mound.
Sure.
But I mean, if they remove all of the foreign substances and they're like, okay, that's cool, do you think they should just at least let them lick their fingers? Or is that too much like a spitball? Then you start getting, if they're like licking it too much, and then it creates more of that. I don't know, I'm just thinking.
I'm okay with the hand to the mouth as long as the hand, after it goes to the wipe. It has to go to wipe. If it goes from hand to ball, then it could be like, well, what if I'm slobbering on it like the Sandlot dog, and all of a sudden the ball's going, woo! Hey.
One of my pitching coaches one year, he threw a spitball, and I was like, you don't like actually spit on a ball, but he'd grab the ball and then he'd lick these two fingers and then he'd throw this pitch and it would squirt.
Yeah.
So it was pretty interesting. But so what I used to do, or not right away in my career, but I was playing with a guy, a shortstop, and we're getting ready to go out to our positions, and he grabs his glove, grabs the pine tar rag, and he kind of gives a little love in the glove, and I was like, whoa, dude, like what? He's like, hey, dude, that backhand, and that way it doesn't spin out. Sometimes you need a little extra grip. So it made sense, and I did a little bit of that, and it does help. It doesn't like get too like sticky or wet on the ball, so it's not like it's like going to be super obvious. It's just a light little layer to help absorb that spin.
I learned it later on from a catcher who had covered the chafing of his glove with it just to protect from chafing.
It does too, right? I've been doing that with one of my gloves now, and it kind of actually helps almost keep the color there too.
Right.
Where, you know, it starts to wear and gets a little dry almost. So I've been doing a little bit that way.
One thing I'm not a fan of is the ball, like we said, moving in an uncharacteristic way.
Right.
Some pitchers put white soap on their white pants, go to the hip like this, go to the ball. That's another one that I've heard of before. I don't know if I've ever caught anyone in a game doing it, having white soap on white pants, go to the hip, go to the ball moves. But that's really about it. The sunblock and rosin thing is a real thing. That's normal. But the tar, now we're starting to get into substances that maybe aren't necessarily going to help hitters in any way. So
Well, you were saying that the spider tack or whatever they were using, it was enough to stay on their fingers, but it wasn't coming off on the ball. That's how these balls weren't being detected. Because they'll still send balls to the offices and they'll have them test it out.
Yeah.
You know, but I feel like look, it's going to be. There's always going to be something. People and players are always going to be looking for an advantage in a niche or something to get a little ahead of the game, and that's just the way it goes. It's you know, this is the top of the top. You want to stay at the top, and so if we can find a way to kind of stay ahead, or you know.
Just to clarify my comment previous about Bauer, I didn't say he got caught. What I meant to say is that he was the first one to be looked into on it.
Right.
Because
he was actually talking about it way back on his platform, almost as if it was like, hey, what are we gonna do about this? And then they're like, no one really did anything. So then he was like, all right, fine, then I'll play around too.
Yep.
So.
One other subject that we want to talk about is kind of how these players are sliding, and if they're dirty plays, if they're safe plays, if they're smart plays. Well, TJ, how do you feel about maybe like this double play ball? Manny Machado slides low, takes out the dude.
Was that was the one where the guy comes up
great
in
play.
the baseline,
It's
right?
a great baseball play.
He just comes up in the baseline and he slides right into him.
Yes.
I mean, he's sliding in the baseline. That's the one thing about Manny Machado, and I've looked at a lot of his videos. Most of his slides, for the most part, are like they're just pretty hard-nosed plays. There was the one he kind of went up a little high on Pedroia, but then still kind of eased up and was like. But his slides where he's breaking up double plays, I think they're okay. I mean, I saw the one of Hal McRae where he literally goes in and just like undercuts the guy. There's no slide. It was a block in football, and the guy goes flying. I mean, it say something, but it was like, oh, okay, that was just part of the game. But I mean, what do you think?
Well, for me, I don't like when the guy's stepping on people's Achilles' heels when he's running to first base.
Exactly.
That's ugly. Striking out, throwing the bat to third baseman, that's ugly.
That's correct.
But these hard baseball slides that are happening, Chase Utley, when he slid past the bag and broke Ruben Tejada's ankle, this is the reason why a lot of these plays are in there. And then Machado goes in and does the right thing baseball-wise and slides in low and hard on a cutoff double play and does the right thing, and people were kind of confused, like, oh, that was a dirty play, he tried to take him out low.
Right.
He actually did the right thing to deny him from the double play. So
and to get down.
Yeah, that's what we're taught to do. So I really I do have an issue with some of these plays. They're a little ugly for certain players, but typically it's a hard-nosed game, and we're getting away from the hard-nosed part of it, just like the NFL is getting away from the ugly things.
Did you ever go hard in the second? You ever take anybody out?
Yeah, a couple different times. I had a guy from the Blue Jays come down onto my leg. After he went up pretty high, we connected shin bones, and then he came down right on me and spiked me.
Yeah.
I had a couple collisions at the plate in rookie ball.
Right.
I think 2 different ones.
Yeah.
That were actually pretty big.
Well, the one that I remember, I mean, I didn't really have too many collisions, but I did have to run over a catcher once, and it was Corky Miller, and who we're hoping to have on the show. But I took out Corky Miller. He was so stout. I had to hit him once and then twice. Took him out of the game, right? Took him out of the game. He still has a wrist thing if you ask him. Anyways, the next inning, I was going to turn a double play, and one of their players slid in, went in high and hit me in my leg, and Charlie horsed me. And he goes, "That's for Corky." It was so funny. I was like, yeah, okay, cool. That's part of the game. Good for them.
Eye for an eye, I guess. Yeah, eye for an eye.
Eye for an eye. So, yeah, I'm okay with the slides if they're hard. I think that's still something special about the game.
It's fun.
It's fun. I mean, that keeps it
for men at least.
Yeah, absolutely.
Youth players, y'all need to slide straight direct to the bag.
Sure.
If you're reaching out, for the
Avoid
bag and
collisions.
your body's here with the other player and you're reaching for the bag, you need to be over here, you know, like going straight in.
Yeah.
It's just to learn the game the correct way and to play safe. But yeah, we don't encourage anybody to go out of their way to try and hurt anyone in any way.
Right.
That's not what this game's about.
No.
It's about playing the game hard the right way. We want to bring up some things that we love, which is baseball movies. And TJ and I are going to speak on a few. We might highlight this more than once. So we might
there's a lot out there that I think we're going to have to cover because we can't do it all in this show.
So today we want to highlight this one movie that we really care about. It's called The Fan. And I'm going to let TJ talk about it because it's his era, and I'm a little bit past that era, even though I've seen the movie before. So TJ?
Thank you for kind of putting me in a category of how old I am.
Nah, age is just a number.
It is.
Beauty is always TJ's thing. So
no, so it's The Fan is kind of a sleeper. I don't think a lot of people have seen it, or it's kind of like a weird. It's super cheesy now when I watch it, but I watched it when I was younger, and it was like kind of a thriller.
Yeah.
But it's fun because. There's actually fans out there that are pretty neurotic and that have, fan means fanatic, right? That's short for fanatic.
Yes.
So basically, Wesley Snipes plays Bobby Rayburn, who gets picked up by the Giants in the offseason. He's a stud. It kind of has he's kind of like the Barry Bonds. Mm-hmm. So he comes from Atlanta. He's in San Fran. Robert De Niro is a huge fan, but he's also a daytime hard salesman, like knife salesman.
Uh-huh.
So he's just trying to make ends meet. Anyways, so he's already got a screw loose, right?
He's hustling hard.
He's hustling hard, but he's always calling into radio shows, and he's got the information and knows what Bobby Rayburn did, and he's excited about it. Long story short, I don't want to give away the entire movie. I'm sorry, I'm looking over here because we have the fan poster up.
Yeah, we actually have a whole bunch of posters.
Movie posters. Maybe we'll flip it one day and do just a movie show, but.
Robert De Niro actually did really good in this movie. I thought he was incredibly, his 100%. Tics and everything. He's super stressed out during the movie, but he plays it off so well.
Yeah, Robert De Niro basically somehow gets in with Bobby Rayburn, kind of kidnaps his son. I'm gonna leave it at that point.
Ooh,
and
check it out.
Just check it out. It's fun. It's kind of a thriller, kind of cheesy. I want to say it's 90.
It's gonna
early
be
90s, mid 90s.
It'll be on one of the outlets if you look.
But pretty fun. The Fan. Check it out. And I don't think you'll be dissatisfied.
Yeah, it's a fun one.
Good fun movie.
Especially if you're a Giants fan.
For sure. Yeah. Benicio del Toro's in that one. It's like a young, early, and it's kind of funny. His character is actually, it's kind of funny, but you'll see. Mm-hmm. Check it out.
Moving on to a new subject, we're going to talk about some bats that we have right next to us here. We want to highlight one that we think is a good one for younger players, and we want to show you kind of what we would swing when we were younger. So you can see that,
my era.
TJ's era. What year were you born?
1978.
Okay, I'm 86, so
that's a good.
We're a few years apart.
Yeah,
not a lot,
but.
I didn't swing any of these gray bats per se. Mine had a little bit more drip to them.
Pewter.
But I'm gonna let TJ talk about the bats because these are one of which is his and another one that he likes a lot. So
this is. I wish we could get more. I'll scoot up a little bit. So basically, this is an Easton, believe it or not. But it literally is made out of full on. That sounds like a pan, like a aluminum pan. It is all aluminum.
Scandium alloy?
No, I don't think that is it.
It hadn't gotten there.
Yet. It had this weird rubber grip, and it's kind of all sticky now.
Zero taper.
No taper. Straight to the knob, and really no flex, no nothing. And the barrel is relatively small. I can almost put my fingers around it. So I'm not sure what the dimensions are on this, but it's small. But it's it's relatively heavy for probably when I was using it, but it's straightforward. I like the one-piece bats throughout the entire game. I know that a lot of aluminum or composite or metal bats now have two pieces.
It's nothing like the bats nowadays. That's why we're highlighting it, so you can see the difference between what was original. Alloy now is
very stiff.
I believe the name of the metal on this is it's just alloy.
Alloy.
It's not scandium.
So this is a Little League bat back in 85, 86. This is now something that the Little Leaguers are using. I mean, look at the barrel on this thing. It's like highlighter yellow. Nice little grip here. It does have a slight taper. The new I guess if you're playing Little League baseball, you have to use USA bats. If you're playing like tournaments,
You triple SA.
you triple SA. So USA bats tend to be a little bit more dead, is what they say. It doesn't have as much pop. But it's again, you can see the barrel's much bigger. I can't even quite get around it. It's very light, very balanced.
Now, my
What
era,
did you-
we were
what were you
swinging
using?
scandium alloys. One of the
Right.
greatest bats ever made was just before my era of high school, when it was still -5. It was an Easton Seacore Reflex, and it was red and black.
Yep.
34-29, so you can swing a 34-inch bat at 29 ounces.
In high school,
It was a -5. That was the. And then my
In high
freshman.
school?
Yes, -5.
I think I swung a -4 in high school my freshman year.
And then 2000 they came to -3 when I was a freshman in high school.
So they must
went
have,
from
it must have been
-5 to
different in
It was.
in Oregon.
Maybe it was.
Because I used the Reflex, or I actually used the Easton Seacore. You probably don't even. It was,
Oh, I know exactly. It was black and red.
Well, this was the original Seacore.
Right, the
It was-
original
it
black and red
was-
Seacore.
It was no orange. It was.
Oh,
it was,
I know
it
what
was,
you're talking about,
Silver.
yes.
It was silver. It was silver, black, and orange.
Yes,
Now
black
it's-
and orange, and then it went to the red one.
Then it went to the red.
And then it went to Seacore Reflex.
Seacore Reflex.
Yes.
But you liked the Reflex.
And that bat jumped almost as good as the Response from Louisville that I swung in high school.
Right.
The Gen 1X that tore apart like multiple times, but those bats were scandium alloy. They've taken all that away from them, and now we just suggest these Rawlings. Typically has a good edge. G Marini's another decent bat.
And these are youth models. I mean, obviously, when you
We'll
get
highlight
when
more
you get
too.
into like the juniors or even the high school college bats, I mean, there's so many
Sure.
out there that you can kind of get lost in the game. Baseball Central, we don't carry bats because of the crazy. It's just there's almost a new bat coming out every 6 months, and it's like, how would we keep
Yeah.
up with the inventory? And so that's not our main focus.
We'll highlight some other
We'll
bats
highlight
as
other
we
bats
go.
as we go.
We always
This is-
suggest swinging wood bats because they create the best swing. They create the most strength. Over time, you want to develop that
Small
wood bat
sweet
swing.
spot.
Yeah, small sweet spot. So,
It's a good training method. Yeah, if you're using metal or if you're still an amateur player, use your metal. That's fine. But we like Ryan said, we suggest wood always. Even if you're young, go ahead and start using a wood.
I like these little neon bats.
Right.
Honestly, you guys remember Ken Griffey Junior Baseball, that big lefty for the Yankees that hit like this the whole time?
But you know what the good thing about this too is if you're instructing and the kids drop in the hands, it's like so bright you can almost see like the tracer
Yeah,
of
the tracer of it,
the trail of the
I
bat.
love
So
it.
it's kind of cool. Yeah.
Sick, dude.
Yeah, man.
Good choice on the bat. Good choice
Sure.
on the bat. I like that one. So we just want to talk a little bit more about youth gear in general. We just want to make sure you guys are choosing the right stuff. Make sure you're getting a glove that works for your age group. If you're a guy that's small and little and needs a lighter glove, make sure you have the correct outfit and you're not swinging around some big heavy leather glove. If you're a guy that's pretty good with the hands, then maybe we can move up to an adult glove that's leather,
So what do you like
That kind of
as
thing.
far as position goes? What like you're an outfielder? What size glove would you typically use if you're playing outfield?
I like a 12 3/4.
12 is that big? That's pretty big, right?
Yeah, the
And
biggest glove.
that's an outfielder's glove.
The biggest
but for an
glove-
adult.
Well, yeah, for an adult, the biggest glove you can get is a 13.
Okay,
It's the
so
first
12
baseman's
and
glove.
3/4, and you used Rawlings.
Yeah.
And what kind of web did you use?
Trapeze.
Rawlings, that was their
yeah,
that's
that's-
their key.
It just lasts longer to me.
Yeah, I liked the trapeze. I did like the trapeze. What if you're
Heart of the hide over pro preferred too.
and then but middle infielders we typically use like 11 and a halves.
Yeah.
Shortstops would use anywhere from 11 and a half to maybe 11 and 3/4, maybe bigger, but usually they're second baseman's 11 and a half, 11 and a quarter. Reason being is we don't want as big of a pocket. We want to get it in, get it out. So it's almost like you're just transferring the ball. You're going to you're only going to catch the ball. Really, ball's thrown to you, ball pop up, and
The rest of the time it's a paddle.
it's all
yeah.
just in and out. So middle infield's usually there. Third baseman's a little bit bigger.
Yeah,
like
I
12.
saw Aubrey Huff. No lie, dude. This was gnarly, dude. But he had like a 12 and a half, dude.
It's just like
It was a small outfielder's glove because I get like.
well, it's a hot corner. You're
Yeah.
not having to be slick and get rid of it quick. You're just you have time. So why not just stop it?
Yeah, he has that more size, more chance
Yeah.
for error, I guess. Unless you're a Gold Glover like a Longoria type that
Right.
had the regular
Arenado.
regular size glove, no problem. They can get it in their palm every time. But for me, Yeah, bigger glove, gives you more chance to go ahead and secure a play. Maybe if you don't feel comfortable getting to the ball, at least you have the glove the size there to help make up for that.
Have you ever used a first baseman's mitt?
Yes, I was a first baseman until I was
What did
16.
what did you think? Like, I mean, it's like when I put it on, and I guess maybe you have to find the right one. It's different. I almost feel like
I have a dirty secret to tell you, TJ.
I almost feel like you could use a normal, like a 12 and a half, 13, and like, I know it's for scooping and digging balls out,
The
but it's
best
just.
first baseman's glove that
Don't
I ever
don't say
used
Rawlings.
was a Wilson A800.
Let's go!
It was a Wilson A800 that lasted me all through freshman and sophomore
Yes.
year. I only broke it twice on throws across from guys that were older, seniors.
Throwing
One who
hard.
played at Western Oregon, he could throw the ball about 90 plus.
Yeah.
Not high 90s, but he could hit 90 or 92 across the diamond.
Right.
He broke it one time where I caught it clean and it just went straight through. But yeah, that Wilson A800 model, I treated it like it was like, a $700 glove.
Right.
And it did more for me than any other model that I ever put on my hand. I always tried on the first baseman's gloves and the pros. Rawlings, just to see how they felt. And they didn't feel like the Wilson first baseman's gloves.
Yeah.
But Wilson, they have their niche. They like to make the glove to your hand. If you have a contract with them, they'll do the glove off the shape of your hand, so it fits exactly.
Yeah.
Instead of you breaking in a glove and making it work, they'll make the glove work for you. Rawlings, on the other hand, they just stick to their patent that they like, that's proven, and people go with it.
What would you say the top 5 gloves are in the major leagues, like fielding gloves?
The number one glove for me right now that I look at the most and I go, it's kind of thin. It's not necessarily a glove that'll last forever, probably, but it looks so cool. And he's one of the best fielders. Is Lindor has this
Dude.
it's like a V something V2.
There's a new. It's a new one.
thin. It's light. It's got this like
It's Rawlings, though, right?
Yeah, it's like this like jet matte black on the back that's super cutty.
Yeah.
And then on the inside, it's just completely like it's been stretched as flat as possible.
Right. Okay, so what? No, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Top 5 brands.
Oh, top 5
So
brands.
with Rawlings, I mean.
Rawlings. I'm gonna go Rawlings, Wilson, Mizuno.
Mizuno.
Those three are my favorites.
Okay. There's some new ones out there too.
There are a few.
Can you name 2 others though that you think?
I have a GloveWorks catcher's glove that I love. And
Nakona?
I did have a Nakona glove.
What is it? SSK?
Excuse me, I take that back. I didn't have Nakona. It was
Academa?
yeah.
Was
But it was just a
Academa?
throwaway glove that some guy had given me for practice, so I never really rocked that in a game or anything. But you were saying
44 is a new glove.
Oh, they're nice, yeah.
They've been around for a while, but I've seen them really kind of take off, and you can do all kinds of customizations with them.
Sure.
Some newer ones, like GloveWorks is still pretty young, but they've been around for a while. JL gloves, who we've done a collab with.
We actually have a giveaway for you guys coming up maybe here soon. So.
Absolutely, we'll be doing a giveaway. Probably, I was fortunate to kind of have a relationship with GloveWorks, and they made some custom Baseball Central gloves for us. JL gloves did some custom baseball gloves for us, so maybe we'll be giving one of those away. So.
Don't sleep on the Marucci's gloves. I love the shape of them.
Not bad.
The infielders gloves, the H-Web, when I put it on, I was like, oh man, this is my model. Now, I don't know if the leather is a type that's going to last for 10 years, but it could last for 2 or 3 seasons and be like the perfect shape for certain guys, and it's not too expensive. They do a great job making sure it's affordable. So that's a sleeper brand. There's a couple more. We'll bring up more gear as we get into it more.
Yep.
So we'll bring up more gloves later. There's a ton of other glove companies that I can't think of right now that I want to mention to you. They're just not on top of my brain at the moment. Lastly tonight, we want to bring up our artist of the week and someone that we care about a lot. I'm going to let TJ speak on because he's really close with TJ.
So if you see a lot of our Baseball Central gear, it's all been designed by a gentleman named Jeff Stone from Colorado. He goes by Enots Design. Super humble, down to earth, very talented guy.
Talented dude.
He does anything I ask him. I say, hey, I got an idea. I want you to try. Can you do this? And he'll literally come back with it. I'm like, nailed it. He's always hitting it out of the ballpark, and pun intended. But some of the stuff like this little bubblegum boy is his. This is another staple that he's done for us, and this is kind of our motto here, which is old school, new school. And that was something that we kind of came up with before even the book that's out right now called Old School, New School. But me being from kind of the older generation with just some of the philosophies, and then obviously learning and adapting with some of the new school, that's kind of what we want to think about. This little painting behind us is also one of Jeff's work. So if you're on a website or if you go to our Baseball Central Instagram page, you go to the Shopify, you can find a bunch of the merchandise already for sale and available. But he's awesome. He was at our last art show, and we hope to get him back out here. But hats off to Jeff. He's awesome. Just such a kind.
Who's in this? Who is this drawing of?
I think it's just a baseball player, but it really reminds me of Tulo.
It does, doesn't it? Man, that looks cool.
He also did this, and maybe we're going to highlight my father, who's now retired from baseball, but he has arts. He does his little crafts. He does these collab pieces with Jeff. This little Jackie Robinson to the
so rad.
That side of my man. Yeah.
So rad. Yeah, guys, we want to let you know if you guys want to inquire on the comments. We actually want to see who can respond first. Whoever responds first, send us a direct message, maybe on TJ's Instagram at Baseball Central LA.
Yep.
We'll get your guys' address and send you off, guys, a little package here that we have planned, a little swag pack for you guys, okay?
Yes, sir.
We appreciate you guys tuning in, and we look forward to next week. Anyways, TJ, is there anything you want to say before we leave?
No, just stay aggressive, have fun in life, and if you have any excuses, get rid of them, because we ain't got none.
0. All right, 0. Dream big.
Dream big.
That's it. We can cut that out of
Yeah,
there.
no, it's good.
Sweet, man.
Nice.
I was going to mention one more thing, and what is the other glove company you mentioned that